So what we're doing today is we saw in a previous video we messed around with the grill at the front here. So I'm going to show you how to take the bumper off. It's already off for a very good reason, that it shows you where some of the screws and bits and pieces go. So the very first thing that's important, any car that's fitted with the radar system at the front, you have to remove the negative cable on the battery. Okay, so you take off the cover. Clearly if yours is a left-hand drive car, the battery's on the other side. This is a right-hand drive car. Twiddle the little hooks around, lift this up out of the way. Okay, and then this cover here, you just lift up, it's not held in place or anything. Okay. Two tangs on the side. Just pull it out, okay. It's got these release clips on the side which you just push in. That, by the way, is how you change your pollen filter. Very simple for once, Mercedes, well done. Just disconnect the battery, that's the one on this side, i.e. the one not under the red cover, and I just put a cloth there so there's no chance of it earthing out whilst you're doing your business. Right, so we mentioned earlier the cable you need to be aware of if you have the Distronic radar. Okay, that's this little cable here. It's quite a tight fit. I recommend it's one of the last things you do, or you put this cover in afterwards, your choice. Now, let me just lift this back out of the way. So the bumper is very simple how it's held in. Okay, you have these two screws here, okay, bolts which are 10mm, and they bolt into those two holes there. You need to remove this temperature sensor when you're underneath, okay, and that just pushes through. There's like a washer here where my finger is. Okay, just pushes in, pushes out, and all the wiring is this plug here, and I'll show you that in that corner in a minute. That's all that you've got to do from underneath. The rest of it is very, very simple, and it's done through the wheel arch. Okay, so in the wheel arch here, okay, you have these expanding rivets. Okay, when you see them, obviously that's pushed in and it's through there. So use a suitable tool. Actually I use some wire cutter type pliers, just slide behind, pull that out, and then pull this bit out. There's one there, and one there. Okay, three of those, and then you can then peel this back, okay, and where these grey holes are here, these Torx head T30, okay, they screw up and just go in there, simple as you like. Okay, I would recommend undoing the inside one first, because otherwise it tends to sag as you're doing it more than it does if you do that one first. Okay, when you put the bumper on and off, you've got this little sort of mushroom shaped little plastic knob thing. There's a little hole in there for it, as you can see. You put it in, slide the bumper back, and it's actually taking the weight, which is quite good. A lot of Mercedes previously, you were trying to struggle and balance everything. What you do need to be aware of is you've got to remove some of the under tray items at the bottom. Okay, if you start off under the car, okay, imagine this is where the steering rack is. Okay, you need to remove the back one first. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these 8mm bolts, 8mm. Okay, and this cover actually sits slightly over this one. I can't remember if they were together or not. It'll be clear when they're under the car. But the point is, you can't take this cover off until you've taken the back cover off. So you take the back cover off, do the same on the front cover, okay? And once they're loose, what you have to do, this square in the middle here is like a jacking point in the car. You actually have to just slide it back. So on this one, you've got to slide back the cover towards the back of the car. Okay, drop it down and you can pull it out. And this cover, which is at the front of the car, you just have to push slightly forward under the bumper, drop it down and pull it forward. So you do have to get under the car. As you can see, we've got an air suspension car, so I've just put it up its maximum to its maximum height, and I've got it on a 1-inch block, 2-inch block of wood on the other side. That's plenty enough clearance to get underneath. Nothing was too tight on there. That's those two pieces. The other piece I've got to make you aware of, okay, let's just set this down here carefully, are these corner pieces. Now they're very easy to get out, but they're quite difficult if you're fumbling around under the dark. Again, you've got two of these 8mm screws. Okay, it goes in under there, and it will obviously attach through there, as you can see. okay, and this bit's attached to that under tray that we spoke about earlier. But in here, and it's very hard to spot, and I'd recommend taking this off before you loosen this panel, is another one of these plastic rivets, okay, and that goes up through there, and it actually goes through where my finger is here on the corner of the bumper, and stops the bumper from sliding forward. It sounds really complicated, it's not. 3 rivets here, 2 bolts, another rivet there, that's the 2 sides free, those 2 bolts in the middle, which you'll see once you take the under tray off. It took me about 10 minutes to get the bumper off, and it really isn't difficult. If you turn the wheels in one way, obviously do all that before you switch the battery off, don't catch yourself out, we've all been there, then that just gives you enough space to get your hand in and do what you need to do. As I said to you, this wiring connector here, again it's the same principle. The little white plastic bit has fallen on the floor, I'll grab it in a minute, the locking key. You pull that out and then you just press down the tang, separate the 2 bits. That's it, job done. Okay, so we'll put this back together now. There are plenty of videos online. There's one for the new W205 C-Class. It's exactly the same because they share much of the floor pan. Indeed, if you actually look on here, part number for this front one is A205, which means it's a C-Class, and a 213, so they obviously share the same floor pan. And if you look at some of the plastic under there, it says 238, which is a convertible or coupe model. So hopefully that was of use. If actually, final point, what you should do is when you lift up the bumper and you put it in place, start at the top. These are the last ones where you detach and the first ones to reattach. These 3 pieces here slide into these channels here, and they've kind of got like a little ratchet on them. So these little bits of, you'll hear it click as it goes in. Excuse me. When you're taking it off, you undo the 3 screws there, and also those 2 screws here, and then you'll just need to lift that slightly just to click it back out of place. What you should do, and I've just done it here by marking it with a Stanley knife, is I've just scored a small line which you won't see when this is back on, but this will go back into the right place then. Okay, so when the bonnet comes down, the distance and everything is correct. It saves me having to readjust it afterwards. And that's it really. So hopefully you found this video useful. Do like it, do comment on it. As I said, we're not professional mechanics, we're just doing this because yeah, we can do it and save ourselves a few bob, and that's what we're doing, and passing on the knowledge. Keep safe, and we'll make another video soon.